Hello there. The feeling of hopelessness is the feeling state that's the result of the thought that you are trapped in an intolerable situation and that you're absolutely powerless to change it. It's complete despair. One of the lowest vibrational frequencies that you can find on Earth. It is, in fact, the vibration that causes people to commit suicide. Why? If you're trapped in an intolerable situation, then you can guarantee one thing about your future. If you can't change that intolerable situation, and that's pain. No one would stick around for that. If you have experienced trauma in childhood, especially abuse of any kind, the feeling of hopelessness is most likely deeply ingrained and continues to reappear in your life. And who blames you? You did experience situations where you were trapped and powerless to do something about it. Anyone would struggle with hopelessness if they found themselves in that situation. And if you currently feel hopeless, it's important to know that nothing has gone wrong if you feel that way. The way you feel is an accurate reflection of the thoughts you're thinking about whatever conditions you find yourself in. Anyone who experienced those conditions and thought those thoughts as a result of it would feel the exact same way. But if you are in a state of hopelessness, what exactly should you do about it? Step 1. Whatever you do, don't try to think positive thoughts. Don't write a single affirmation. Anything you try hard to do to get out of the feeling of hopelessness will ensnare you deeper. It functions like a spider web. When you feel hopeless, if you try to get out of that hopelessness, you will only wind yourself deeper and tighter. You'll get more stuck. Besides, if you're feeling hopeless, you've already entered into anything you do with an attitude of it's not going to work. 2. From this point, you have 2 options. The first is to do anything you can do to distract yourself. When you're in a vibration that is as low as complete hopelessness, sometimes placing your attention on anything else is enough to raise your frequency into the range where you can then deliberately focus your thought on something that feels better. So what you should do is watch your favorite comic, maybe watch a video, go do some sort of hobby that you know demands the full attention within your being. You could read a book or play a video game. And when you feel your emotional state improve, then you can begin deliberately focusing positively, or do some other activity that's specifically designed to improve your mood. The one thing you want to watch for with this option is that it can be tempting to use distraction as a permanent state of escapism from life itself. The second option, which is my personal favorite, and the one that is more of a long-term solution instead of a short-term solution, is that you stop trying to do anything else, and you instead focus all of the attention of your consciousness on the hopelessness itself. You allow yourself to sink deep into that feeling state and be completely unconditionally present with it. Instead of resisting it, invite it to consume you and flow through you. Allow the hopelessness fully. The feeling of being hopeless and trapped is a reflection of childhood experiences of helplessness. To understand this process fully, you can watch my video on YouTube titled How to Heal the Emotional Body. 3. Disidentify with your thoughts and feelings. You want to step into this state of being the observer. If you are able to observe your emotions and observe your thoughts, then you must not only be the thoughts and emotions, you must be separate from them. This is a really, really critical thing to do, because when you're in a state of hopelessness, your thoughts are very grabby. They convince you essentially that they're accurate and true. And then your emotional state reflects that belief that those thoughts are true instantly. The best way to imagine this is to think of yourself as a deep, still lake. Your thoughts and emotions are like the ripples on the surface of that lake. They are still part of the lake, but they are not the whole lake. By sinking beneath them, you can experience yourself as the stillness underneath, who is now observing the feelings and thoughts on the surface of you. You can experience them without judgment about whether they're right or wrong, or about what they mean. This disidentification is an amazing way to stop the momentum of thought, which is critical when it comes to downward negative spirals. I have a meditation that will help you to do this. To try it out, watch my video on YouTube titled Mindfulness Meditation, The Observer Self. 4. Once the doom that is the byproduct of this hopelessness begins to dissipate, like the fog dissipates from the mountaintops, I want you to sit down and either make a list or think of a list of things to look forward to. If you're in a state of hopelessness, you feel like you have nothing to look forward to, except for pain. So, making a list of things to actually look forward to, and keeping it somewhere in plain view in your room, is a really good way to counteract that particular belief. Just remember, if you're trapped in hopelessness still, trying to do this step or the next step I'm about to give you is a really bad idea. It will only make you feel worse. 5. Every day I want you to do a scavenger hunt for positive aspects. These are things in your reality that feel good to look at, things you appreciate or feel gratitude for. You can do this either in your head or, like I like to do it, by writing a list. The vibrational frequency of appreciation is the exact opposite of the vibration of powerlessness. And hopelessness is an aspect of powerlessness. Not only that, it is not possible to feel like a victim and to focus on things going right for you, appreciation, at the same time. Those vibrational frequencies cancel each other out. In other words, focusing on things that are going right for you, or things that you like about your life, and no matter how small or large they may be, is an antidote to hopelessness. 6. Face the issue by directly addressing the situation at hand, and the situation at hand is this. You feel trapped. So the question to ask yourself is, what do I feel trapped by? What do I feel trapped between? Keep in mind that it might be negative thoughts themselves that you feel out of control of and trapped by. What situation feels intolerable? How am I holding myself back or holding myself prisoner right now? If there are any changes you can make to this intolerable situation, make them. Involve other people, including professionals, to see options that you most likely do not see in this seemingly futile situation. Those of you who remember the video that I did on meaning, I think the video is called Meaning the Self-Destruct Button. Know that the minute that you decide something is hopeless, meaning you have absolutely no control over the situation, that's the meaning you assign to an experience. So it's like you put those glasses on, and now you can only see the world through those lenses. And those lenses, if you're in a state of hopelessness, they obscure the world to the degree that you are no longer seeing any options to get out of the circumstance that you're in. Even if you cannot control any aspect of your external circumstance that you find yourself in, you still have control over what you're focused upon. The more futile the situation seems, the more important it is to embrace uncertainty. For more on how to do this, you can watch my video on YouTube titled, How to Deal with Uncertainty. Because you are interpreting the circumstances and events in your life through the lens of meaning that you are helplessly trapped, you need to be willing to ask yourself, is it 100% true that I am trapped? All too often we are endlessly focusing on the things we can't change about a situation, instead of on the things we can. 7. Get out and do activities that you enjoy or that you used to enjoy. When we feel hopeless, we give up on doing the things in our life which might possibly change the way that we feel for the better. So I want you to think about those things in your life that cause you to feel better and do them. And if there's none of those, think about things you used to love to do and go do them. 8. Hopelessness is indicative of the fact that we feel powerless to meet a specific need. All too often we are not consciously aware of what that need is. The circumstance that we're experiencing is causing us to experience a deprivation for that need. So once you look at your situation of hopelessness and discover what need it is that you feel absolutely powerless to meet or have met, brainstorm alternative ways that you could get that need met directly. 9. Let yourself cry. Crying is a huge release. It's absolutely amazing when it comes to hopelessness. Because if you think about yourself being trapped, crying is an expression, it's a release of energy. It's the opposite of that feeling and that vibration of trappedness. As it applies to hopelessness, crying is magic. It may just be what you need to clear the fog of helplessness from your mind and thus allow clarity to return. 10. Allow yourself to consider that life actually is hopeless, and then you can give up. This means fully allow the hopelessness. This may seem completely counterproductive, but yet again, hopelessness on a vibrational level functions like a spider web. The harder you try to get out of it, the deeper you will wind yourself into it. Sometimes we have to release all resistance by just giving up on the situation we are so desperate to get out of or fix or change. This is the practice of surrender. Then we are left with the question, if it really is hopeless and there's nothing to do but give up on this, what can I do instead to feel just a little bit better? If you feel hopeless, it is tempting to think that you have given up and that you have completely surrendered to the situation. But if you are in fact feeling hopelessness, this is not the case. All you are doing in your life is resisting the situation that feels futile. You are slamming your head up against the wall. You are in a state of resistance, stuck in a kind of futile desperation to change what you want to have change. We have been told for all our life that the strong never surrender, but I am proposing the opposite. I am proposing that it takes even more strength to willingly surrender. I am proposing the idea that the minute that we are willing to let go of what cannot be changed, we allow the universe to open doors to what can be. So consider that by surrendering to your own hopelessness, the jail bars might actually swing open. Have a good week.